Hello, everyone, and welcome to Miami Minutes. This is the podcast where we... Wait, oh, are you sure? We're gonna talk about every minute of Miami Connection, 1 minute at a time. Let's go! Woo! I am one of the hosts, Niall McGowan.
I am your other host, John Parker, here to willingly accept donations of pizza from the fan base.
And, is it... Well, we'll get to it when we get to it, but is it pizza and... hot chocolate or pizza is what they've been like. It seems excessive to have both, but we'll get to it.
Is this in his dialogue?
Yeah.
Right.
Are you telling me is it going to be that there's no mention of hot chocolate?
There's not. I've looked at the subtitles because I couldn't understand what he was saying. I'll be honest. I couldn't make it out at all. So I'm amazed you even got anything out of it. And I'm not saying this is a diss on him at all. Yeah.
But no, I genuinely thought he was pitching like hot chocolate, and everyone went like pizza, and he's like, pizza? Oh, you sure? And, okay, we'll do pizza instead. So I'm astounded to learn now.
I know which exact bit it is that you think says that now, because as soon as you said it, I was like, oh God, yeah, like it sounds like that in my head, even though I know the line.
Well, we'll get to it. We'll get to it. But yeah, so this is minute 59 of Miami. We're almost an hour in to this demented, damn idealistic crusade we got going on here.
Yeah, it's taken us well over a year already.
Yeah. We got like the guts of a year left, I think. But
I kind of feel for the Godfather Minute guys doing the same thing, one a week.
I know, 'cause I've been listening to them. They're midway through part 2, and they've been doing it for so long, and they're like, yeah, so we're on a minute 120, and then they're like, yeah, just another 60 weeks to go. It's like, Jesus Christ, oh man, that's a long film.
Oh boy.
Yeah, but yeah, this opens with a meet and greet, and it ends a minute later with Jeff's goons pulling all the stakes out.
Ooh, those phony loser wannabes, they aren't the bad boys of UCF.
The thing is, though, best moment of this minute occurs exactly at 0.000 seconds, because you see Dragon Sound making their way out, and in the background there's this lady pointing like, look, it's them, and there's a guy next to her in like a pink polo shirt, and he's just like, he's got a proper like, oh my God, it's Dragon Sound. So these guys are like, they are celebs apparently amongst the campus. That was my
question to you about the majority of this sort of starting sequence is like they bump into these other students because those two are some of them, but they bump into some others as well. There's a whole group of people who really want to shake their hand and say how amazing they are. So my thought was, like, they know the band, right? Because what else have they done anything for the school?
No, initially I thought maybe that these are just their other friends.
Or they're enthusiasts of circles.
It could be, they're enthusiasts of circles, but also, they're all standing, like, waiting for them.
Yeah.
Like, this is almost as if they have played a gig, and now they're, like, on their way out to, sometimes after, like, a bit, like, you always see it in, like, big comedy shows sometimes. Yeah. Or in America, they always have like, the people come out the back door, even like Broadway shows and stuff.
Oh, they do it here, If you wait, you will meet them.
No, I don't like to bother people.
Well, so and it can take a long time. I waited like an hour and a half, maybe, for John Lydon. Someone got him to sign a butter tub, though, which was quite funny.
Nice. I imagine you'd take that in stride. You'd be like,
I thought it was great.
Yeah. I remember there was the one time I saw, because they were doing a production of The Lady Killers, I saw standing outside like the Everyman Theater in town, just during the day, just standing out there, but people around them because they were very recognizable. Peter Capaldi.
Oh, whoa.
And keep in mind, this was a long time ago, Graham Linehan.
Oh, before the controversy. Okay.
Yeah, back when I was like, it's the freaking guy who made Father Ted.
Well, yeah, let us explain to the American listeners, right? Because they'll only know him as, he's that weird internet transphobe. It's like, yes, he is, but he used to be a beloved, acclaimed comedy writer.
Yeah, co-created both Father Ted and Black Books, some of the greatest sitcoms of the last 30 years.
Yeah.
Probably more now. And yeah, but because he's Irish, there was a lot of pride about him, and now like everybody's disowned him. Except for, like, obviously, because I think he still makes money from doing, like, far-right talks and stuff like that.
far-right people and people on Mumsnet who are basically the same thing.
Because one weird thing, too, where it's just, like, I can't speak to him because he dug his own grave by doubling down on it. But, like, some of these people who end up having to be like, well, my only audience now is the right wing. They must know, like, I don't actually believe this, but now I have, because the only people who will hire me are, like, these right-wing nut jobs. So I have to go along with this and stuff. But
what's worse, if they do believe it, or if they don't believe it and are exploiting it anyway? I don't know, because that could be funny, but at the same time, it's helping spread it.
Well, that's the thing, yeah. I think that actually makes them worse.
Yeah.
If they're like, no, but I can profit off this. I don't believe it, but I'll still use it to make money. And
like
I'll
no
still...
scruples kind of thing, yeah.
Yeah, so it's, but the hell of Graham Lennon. But Peter Capaldi's great.
Well, back then, Graham was as well. But the one we thought he was, But I had a thing, I was just like, I could go over and just talk to these guys right now. But I was just like, no, they wouldn't want me bothering them. I always do. I feel like a prick. I do. Yeah. I don't want to be rude. Like,
and it was very approachable too, because this was pre-Capaldi being Doctor Who.
Yeah.
So this was just like, oh, it's the guy from the thick of it.
That's where I knew him from, actually.
Yeah. And so I had a kind of like, oh no, he's very approachable. Like Graham Lennon's recognizable, but not many people will be like, that's the guy from Father Ted. And Peter Capaldi's like, oh, that's like nowadays everybody would be like, holy Christ, it's Peter Capaldi. But no, I chose not to. I was like, I'm just going to lead them.
I respect that.
So in the minute, and I also noted, this must have been shot on the same day as some of the opening scenes, because there is a lady in a red sweater that's very identifiable, as I believe we spent some time talking about that red sweater many, many weeks ago.
Yeah. Is this the one we decided had big non-binary energy?
That's right, yeah. Because even now, still, I'm like, it's a woman. Well, they're a woman, right? Can't quite tell.
I'm going with MB, even if they didn't have the terminology for it then,
I think there's maybe it was just androgyny was just a big thing in 86, perhaps, when they made this.
Because the 80s was all about androgyny.
Yeah, so there's a black lady as well who has very, very like, oh, there was a moment I hesitated. Where I was like, oh no, I think I'm pretty sure it's a lady, but I can't stop saying it when I can't decide someone's gender. Like, oh, that thing over there. That's
just say they. But there's one person as well. She's wearing like a blue. I don't know what you call her top. It's like a blue blouse, let's say, and she's holding her book.
Smashing blouse, yes.
It is. It is. She has the exact hairdo of Sarah Connor from the first Terminator movie.
Oh yeah, so she does. Yeah.
It's exact.
Well, but maybe she was like, I saw that Terminator movie the other night. That hairdo was amazing. But no, it's the poodle perm, I believe is the term for it. Yeah.
My favourite bit in Terminator isn't any of the action. It's when the two of them are getting ready to go out, and her flatmate says to her, like, she looks in the mirror and she's like, better than mortal man deserves. Yeah.
That's always a weird thing, because like the plot takes over Terminator so much. You forget all like the cool little details at the start of the first one, like all like they call the club like Tech Noir and all that.
Yeah, I always wanted to make a club called Tech Noir and set like do an 80s kind of thing.
There's a whole like there's so many cool little like it's again, because it is essentially like a slasher movie. Most times in slasher movies you have to just cling on to the little bits of character that you get. Mm-hmm. So you will little scenes like that mean a lot. Whereas in like once the plot starts, it doesn't let up. And then in Terminator 2, it's all just like, it's all plot and stuff.
You're right, actually. I like all those little touches, like the way you see Sarah Connor's got an iguana.
Yeah. I guess T2 does have the ginger mullet kid. He's a bit more of a kind of like, an incidental thing that John Connor has.
He's become great. I actually always loved him because I kind of wanted to be him as a kid. And he's become a bit of a meme lately, hasn't he? Because it's like, this dude saved the world by instinctually lying to a cop.
Yeah. Although I guess my only thing with that meme is that like it doesn't work. Like he almost saved the world, I guess, but like
I think it works.
As in the middle of the T-1000 is like, fuck you, kid, and just walks out, like he just takes off. It's like, I see him, I don't need you anymore.
But it bought him enough time.
Hey, I think I saw that guy you're looking for.
Every second counted, baby.
But yeah. So the big Sarah Connor energy there. And then you see, from that, like, behind there is it's almost kind of like a Grace Jones-ish
Yeah,
kind of
I can
vibes
see that.
she's got
Or,
going on.
I mean, she's got more hair, but or also there's a kind of vibe of what's her name, Skin from Skunk and Nancy. You know.
Yeah. It's a good look. It's got like the back in the day. I'm sure they'll probably maybe it already is back. I'm not up in my youth culture, but just like back when, like the young people were tucking in. Like nowadays, when we were but young, John, it was a kind of age. No, you have your shirts hanging out. That no one tucks in anymore unless you're like 50.
Yeah, especially not a jumper.
Yeah, but these people are like, oh, they're all tucking in the jumpers. And like that, the Grace Jones lady, she's got her trousers pulled up to her boobs. She's kind of got like a Grandpa Simpson outfit going on here for a second.
But she's rocking it.
Oh, she looks great. Yeah.
I also really like the guy you mentioned before with the mustache. He's very, very 80s gay.
Yes, he does have very much have the kind of vibe of like, I'm going to go and try to get laid with one of the Dragonstein over here.
Yeah, he's trying to get him with Mark.
Yeah. But I think him and Jim could make a good couple. I think that they share similar vibes. There's
a certain mustache though in the 80s, right? Because I mean, mustaches are quite old-fashioned now in our particular era. But there's a specific 80s mustache that's like, that's a gay mustache. Yeah,
there is. I just remember it was in. That was the thing in when they made that the movie Bohemian Rhapsody, and I was actively confused about like the guys playing Freddie Mercury's like lovers.
Yeah,
they all looked the same.
I thought that there was two of them in particular that I was like, oh.
There's one when I was like, is that not the same guy? It's like it's just another white guy with the same haircut. It just looks like Bennett from Commando.
Bennett's got the gay tash.
Yeah, Bennett, everything about Bennett was so gay. It was just like the tank top, the chainmail, just everything about like the sweaty and like brandishing his knife and like everything he's saying. It's like, I think you're just in love with Matrix. That's the only reading I can take from this.
That's how I first watched Commando. Right, I didn't grow up watching it, believe it or not. Grew up a big Arnie fan, never saw Commando until I discovered a website that was like, these are the gayest 80s movies of all time, and that was number one.
Yeah.
And it broke it all down. It was explaining, like, all of his dialogue where he's like, I don't need the girl, John.
Yeah.
He's like, take that knife, stick it in me.
Yeah, 100%.
Look me in the eyes.
They're both of them sweating and, friggin' Barney's bare-chested in their final comedy. It's a whole thing. It's like, this is intensely homo. And it's one of those ones, like, I kind of, I don't know if anyone's ever posited to Arnie, because, like, Arnie seems like a cool guy. But I don't know how cool he would be if people posited, like, well, there's a homoerotic reading of Commando.
I don't think he would get it.
Yeah, no, it's just a silly movie, but... So maybe this guy is one of the guys who went out with Freddie Mercury. He's just like, he's just a star fucker, as it were.
Oh, he's going around all the bands.
It's just like, if I can land Angelo after this, like Freddie, Angelo, then my trifecta will be George Michael. I'll go through it all.
Oh, that's trading up, isn't it? Freddie to Angelo. Ooh.
Yeah, then George Michael, to be fair, though. That's he'd be pretty... George Michael, I think, be top. I think out of the three of them, George Michael will be like the cream of the crop, wouldn't he? But maybe that's just me. Maybe it's a matter of personal taste.
It depends what you're talking about. Fame, good looks.
I would say good looks. I'd say talent. Freddie's obviously got like.
Yeah, I'm not even a big Queen person, but Freddie's voice is very good.
Yeah, Freddie, the voice, and then even if you don't like Queen, there's a good chance you'll still like actually really like about 6 Queen songs because they had so many, and so many of them were really poppy. So you're like, yeah, well, all right, I have to admit that one's a good kind of thing. So
they're one of those. I keep trying to listen to them and I can't get it. But they're all talented. That's the weird thing. But George Michael's more talented than people think. They just go, oh, he's a pop star. Well, there's more to him. More to him.
Maybe because my dad's big into George Michael. So like throughout the 90s when he was kind of like in his jazz era and all that stuff, I was very aware of like how talented George Michael was because my dad kept talking about him. And then you go elsewhere and it's like, oh, the Wham guy. Like, no, he's a much more sophisticated artist than Wham.
I think that's why he left Wham. It wasn't anything to do with the other guy, Andrew Ridgeley. They didn't fall out. He was just like, I've got to go do something else.
Yeah, I think Ridgeley was working with him the whole throughout the 90s. He's like, oh, I'm just not called Wham anymore. I'm just like doing behind the scenes stuff because he's not a star, which George Michael very much is a star.
Yeah,
of course. Now.
But the difficulty here is not that it matters really, but I get the vibe. Depends on what you want to be doing. I get the vibe George Michael would be a top. Whereas I imagine Freddy would be a switch.
Yeah, Freddy. I think Freddy's into everything. Like he has that vibe about him.
I think George he had top energy. I don't know about Angelo.
Well, yeah, I don't think. Maybe it's because I know Angelo is married to Jane in real life. I was like, I don't get the vibe from him, but Jim
doesn't mean anything. They could be doing the old Amazon position.
Yeah, of course, yeah. Could be an Elton John scenario right here.
Yeah.
Also too, while we're going through the people, so we have the Freddie Mercury's boyfriend, Grace Jones, Sarah Connor, NB. And then there's another immaculate jumper appears as well.
Oh, is this is it got roses on?
Yeah, this kind of Alanis Morissette looking lady over here. She's
Alanis.
Ahead of her time. She's like, I won't be relevant for another 6 years, but I'm here already.
She's
baby.
ahead of the game. She's fashion forward.
Yeah, she's going to tear off that jumper and there'll be a flannel shirt underneath.
Yeah. And, she does give me kind of lesbian energy. So a flannel would be even more appropriate.
Yeah, maybe her and I don't know, the one next to her is kind of good. It's not a Charlie Brown shirt, but it kind of it's kind of got that Charlie Brown kind of vibe to it.
It's the same kind of pattern.
Yeah, it's just like with the red. It's got the white collar, and then it kind of looks as if random holes have been cut into it, rather than that being a design. It's almost as if like, oh yeah, the moths got into my closet or something. It's kind of like indiscriminate holes have appeared on her shirt.
It's the 80s, baby. Fashion's crazy.
But so I'm not too sure whether to believe, like, it's just... Part of me still wants to believe that these are just their friends. They're just like, hey, God! Because also it's just weird that, like, they're so famous around camp. Well, I guess they're so famous. There's, like, 6 people here or something. But so you're kind of establishing that, like, they're flat broke. They're packing out that club every night, though.
Yeah.
And they've got people who just recognize them on campus and go over and talk to them, but also they've not got 2 pennies to rub together.
I feel that. And you should feel that getting recognized for the podcast.
Yeah.
People are like treating you like you're famous. I say, have you got any like food I could have?
Oh, by the way, just a reminder of people to sign up to the Patreon.
Pay our bills, please.
I was trying to remember that bit from the calicopants.com thing. I've really lost control of this. Like, I'm completely underwater on this project now.
Although speaking of clothes and pants and things, this scene really does encapsulate something I really like about the 80s in general. Lots and lots of white again. Like, we've talked about it briefly before, but white, loads of white. I think it's an underrated fashion sort of choice. I love white. I liked it when the Clash wore white. That was towards the end, and they look great. But I also get it. Like, every time I've worn white, I've fucking messed it up somehow. I've like dropped food on it or something.
Oh yeah, like I very rarely ever wear white, and then in the last year or two, I've allowed a white T-shirt. And not just like a pure white T-shirt. They'll still have stuff on it.
Yeah. I wear a lot of white band T-shirts because everyone wears black band T-shirts. So I'm like, well, I'll wear the white. Yeah.
But and then I was like, I don't know why also. I think it used to be this like way back when I was younger and it was a lot spottier. The contrast of the clean white with your skin tone was always like, and it just highlights how greasy you are and stuff. And then now that I'm not as bad anymore, I was like wearing a white T-shirt. Like, why did I avoid wearing white for so long? And then you eat. And it's like you look down like, oh Christ, that's why. And you're messaging people going like, do you know how you get a stain out of a wet? I ate like one fork from a curry. That's it. The whole T-shirt's gone.
It sounds bad, but if I'm going to eat a curry, I'll either change or put a jumper on over the top of it. Like just while I'm eating.
I only now those have certain two or three white T-shirts that they have other stuff on them, but like they're predominantly white. But I'm like, I'll wear them if I'm going out, like special occasion. I'm not going to wear them casually because again, if I eat, they will get stained. Like it's just a matter. And I don't. That speaks to like every other shirt I own is already stained in some ways. I don't know. I'm thankful that I don't know.
That's it, you see. But the 80s had the balls to wear white trousers.
Yes.
Right? And I love them. I think they look amazing. But I know, because just walking through town, half the time I get mud up my black trousers. I think maybe because it's England, and England's a very wet and muddy place. I imagine, I was going to say Miami's not like that, but it does rain a lot, but that's because it's so humid. So it's a bit of a different kind of wet.
Yeah. There used to be a comedian. It wasn't Billy Connolly. But I had a feeling it might have been Billy Connolly. He used to have a bit about wearing white trousers and going out on the tear and saying, oh, they're great because you can piss yourself and no one will ever know. So you just walk around. I was like, yeah, I'll just piss myself. I was like, no one, it doesn't show up in the white.
Would it not show up? Oh.
Yeah, well, maybe I'm getting mixed up. I remember Billy Connolly used to have a thing about incontinence trousers that he wore.
Like calico cut pants.
Yeah, but these songs are like, I guess you tied them at the bottom and they were just completely lined. So, and he's just going like, you just go out all night just pissing constantly, and then at the end you just untie the bottoms and this big flood of piss will come out and stuff. Oh, that also reminds me though. This, I'm pretty sure because I mentioned this to you last night, but I want to put it in now in audio form, so it's officially on the books because I believe we talked about it on this show, where we were talking about different Americanisms. And I was going like, there was one I got like really, some guy in a comment section really laid into me for that I was unaware, and I was like debating him, like, it's not an Americanism, it's not, and then he proved that it was. And on the show I was really annoyed because it was off the cuff. I didn't have any time to like prep or look up what it was. So I was like, I don't know, I don't remember what the term was, but now I do.
Yeah.
And as I told you last night, John, the term is normalcy. Where I think I made a meme.
Oh, normalcy.
And then a guy came in and was like, nope, that's not a word. It's normal. I think he put a little asterisk and went like normality. And I was like, no, both are words, both mean the same thing.
I thought they were interchangeable, yeah.
Yeah, but he's like, no, it's an Americanism. And then I got into the whole thing, and then to be fair to him, he wasn't actually that much of a dick, to be fair, but he did then leave a link. And true enough, apparently normalcy is an American term, where over here, you would only say I think you're supposed to only say normality, but I guarantee you, if you ask the common person in the street, they would not know that was a thing.
And also, you say he wasn't being that much of a dick, but he was, because why did he even feel the need to say it in the first place?
Yeah.
Why did he care enough to have to do that?
I think I took it personally because I am a proofreader by trade, and I was unaware of this. So, and I have to like sometimes I'll get specific requests and documents to be like, this has to be read for U.S. English for U.S. publication. Other times U.K. English for English publication. And so I felt like maybe I was like, I should have known. I failed. My last 10 years of a career have been a joke.
Hey, you know what? Right, this applies to everybody listening. You're never perfect. Never. You're not going to know everything. There's only you can get 99%. You know what I mean? You're never going to get everything in your role, even in life-saving jobs. You know, you're never gonna be 100% on all day, every day.
Yeah. Although now I have in fact started stalking this man, and he is perfect in every way. I'm frankly very disappointed that I haven't got any dirt on him.
And in fact, you want to get with him. So.
Yeah. He's my Freddie Mercury / Angelo / George Michael. But also, I will point out that before we get into like the real villainy that's on screen, at 14 seconds, as all their various hangers on are. I've also spotted something else too. Oh my god! Pause on second 14. Okay, so. They're all gazing at Dragon Sound in their glory as they waft off. A guy on the far left.
I beg your pardon.
A guy on the far left has extreme Dexys energy.
I can feel it. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm positing he's undercover because he's there. He's got the beard. He's got the sunglasses. He's an undercover midnight runner. I think he's there to check out
midnight runners. That's the name of the gang.
Yeah, so they brought the team up between Jeff's crew and Dexys. He's like, oh, you can use my guys to infiltrate the college. And so, yeah, I look at him and I'm like, no, that guy's part of the Dexys crew. But then if you move ever so slightly over to the right, precisely second 14, pink shirt and mustache.
Yep.
Checking out the ass of the guy in front of him.
Why not?
The guy says he's the guy in the other tucked in white polo shirt. Was the 80s.
Tucking in a polo feels wrong.
but he's quite buff, and he's lifting his leg up, and he's displaying quite a rear.
He's got cake.
He has definitely got a cake, and the mustache. He's appreciated. Like, you know, there's nothing wrong with a glance. You know, as long as you're not caught looking. You know, you're not doing anything disrespectful.
Let's be honest, right? Everyone's had a glance.
I think it's human nature to have it, as long as you're not lurid about it.
As long as you're not being creepy. Like, everyone's done it before. Sometimes you can't help it.
Yeah.
In fact, that's a plot in Seinfeld, isn't it?
Yeah.
With the
it's like staring in directly to the sun. You just get a quick glance and then try to look away as fast as you can.
Isn't it like his boss's daughter or something?
Yeah, it's Bob Bala. It's Denise Richards playing Bob Balaban's daughter. Yeah. And then they set up Bob Balaban with Elaine coming in a low-cut dress to see if he'll stare. And then when they do, they're just like, "Well, you did it too, man." And he's
catching
like,
him out. Yeah.
He kind of has a fair enough kind of attitude about it, but
it lasts a good 2 seconds as well. He only looks away as he then goes, "I'm not doing anything." Blah, da, 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 da.
That actor was just like, no one will ever know.
Yeah, it's not even in the script. Yeah, he's just like...
And then 35 years later, here we are. We caught you, man. We caught you.
Well, you know, if you're going to have a look, he's having a look at the best. No one else has a butt like that in the scene. That we know of. I mean, we can't really see, we can't see MB or we can't see Grace Jones' butt, so...
Yeah. And there's a gal, Alanis, there, probably in her Dave Coulier phase.
She looks like she hasn't got a booty. But no shame.
No.
I'm sure she has other great qualities.
But and then we do cut to the full blown outright villainy of Jeff's gang. On a steak, the second stakeout of the movie, I believe, looks just as boring as the first one.
Yeah, they're not very conspicuous either. They're quite obviously up to no good.
Yeah, and I think it's. Okay, we're all sitting around on a miserly day, all wearing sunglasses in the car, no music, no chatter, and it'd be fair enough if they want they're the bad guys. You have to give off a sinister vibe, but it's all with characters who we've seen are a bit of fun, and we've seen because we've got Kid Rock there, we got Vader. We've seen those guys chatting to each other. We know that they've got a kind of affable relationship. So it's weird to see them sitting in complete silence. As if they're serious bad guys.
Well, Kid Rock and Vader, especially Kid Rock, they've both been shown to be kind of sort of halfway to inept. They always kind of fuck up. These other two guys, we've definitely seen these before, but I can't remember where we saw them or if we named them. Because if you stop at second 22, you can actually see them both quite well.
Yeah. The guy behind the steering wheel was in the gym. He went and got Jeff.
Ah, yes.
I think we comment on the fact that he was wearing Jeff's outfit, but he is also wearing Jeff's outfit here as well.
Joju.
That was it.
Jeju. That was it.
Jeju. There you go. Jeju, Vader, Kid Rock, and I believe there is a fourth person. Did we get seeing who it is? Or...
Yeah, you go to second 22 and you can see, because Kid Rock isn't in the shot there. So you can see there's someone else in the back with him, and then there's the guy in the front with Vader. You see, you've got a little trio.
Let's see. Oh yeah. It's kind of a young Edward James Olmos vibe. This guy.
Oh yeah. What's his character's name in Blade Runner? We could go with that.
No, he just had that tweet the other day that Elon Musk put up.
Oh Jesus Christ!
About, the armored car. He's like, yes, it's the kind of thing the Blade Runner would have driven.
Blade Runner, it's his fucking name.
Yeah, I think someone put up then just dear Die Hard, you rock. Especially with that guy on the roof. Homer Simpson. P.S. Do you know Mad Max?
And someone pointed out rightly as well, hang on a minute, this isn't the brag you think it is either, Elon, even ignoring that he thinks it's that. It's Blade Runner's a horrible dystopian future. Yeah. You're not supposed to be trying to create it.
What do you... I just always know him, because I know him as Adama, and then I know him as Edward James Olmos in Blade Runner.
He was called Gaff. Gaff, which on one hand cool, but on the other hand that is also the name for the underwear you wear when you're tucking your penis as a drag queen. So I don't know if we should be calling him Gaff, or maybe we should.
Maybe it's named in tribute to him. You never know what Edward James Olmos has been up to in the drag scene.
Maybe I could imagine him in drag because he's he's a very manly man, but I reckon he's got another side to him.
Yeah, no, I can imagine he would. Yeah, Not that he's hiding anything, but I think he's very just comfortable in himself.
Yeah,
so he'd be like,
yeah.
I'll do that from time to time.
Underrated actor, in fact. I mean, he's got some iconic roles, but I don't think he's ever broke through enough to the mainstream, you know?
I guess this is now he's just a Dharma to people in Battlestar, so they're like, yeah, he's probably got residuals from that live the rest of his life off. So.
But then, like, you know, big show to us nerds. But if I go to work and talk to randoms about it, they'd probably be like, what? Like, oh, yeah, I think I might have heard of that.
Yeah, I don't know. You underestimate how much some of these things cross over from time to time.
Yeah,
you'll get a random person you wouldn't think would be into this stuff, and it'll turn out that they're like obsessed with Star Trek or something. It happens from time to time. But although I was going to comment earlier that Angelo's T-shirt, the one that had like the unicorn on it, we had the whole thing about last week. It did remind me of the origami unicorn in Blade Runner.
Oh.
So it's weirdly appropriate that this guy looks a bit like Edward James Olmos.
One of my favourite things with that is the way that in the final cut, you know, you actually see a unicorn.
Yeah.
But then you find out that he just took the footage from Legend. Because he didn't have the time or money to be like, well, I can't go and shoot that again. Let's just take it from the other movie I did.
Yeah, so the end of the original ending was just swiped from The Shining. Where it's just like, Stanley Kubrick's got unused shots of a car from 1979 driving
was
up a
very
mountain.
Obviously not part of Blade Runner.
Yeah, it was just like, so the rest of them have cars, or have like flying cars. The kind of car that Blade Runner would drive.
Yeah, Blade Runner himself, yeah.
Yeah, these things, they're showing, make a whole thing about flying cars, and then you're telling me, oh, he gets out of the city in a busted up old, like, 1968 VW bug or something.
I think the studio's logic in doing that was like, right, okay, well, they wanted it to end happy, blah, blah, blah. But also, like, the justification for using that footage was, well, we can explain it away with that's how they're going off the grid. They're using this old technology. It's not, you know, flying. It's not tracked. It's not chipped. It's just a car. And they're going off into the middle of nowhere. Which I can kind of understand that, if that's the way they were thinking. It's still shit.
Yeah.
But it makes sense, at least. But they've never openly said that, so I don't know.
I think it was very much like, no one's going to question it. It's like, it's funny how you also have normal cars. What's the problem? But,
they probably thought, well, no one's going to watch this again. It's going to bomb. And it did bomb at first. And I didn't even like it at first. It took me a couple of watches, you know.
I kind of want to get like a shot of Jack Nicholson's car from The Shining and tweet at Elon Musk, like, just like the car of the Blade Runner.
Yeah. Oh my God, do it. Please, let's wind him up with the official Miami Minutes page. Yes.
But yeah, so all these guys are sitting, unless they are listening to the
Oh, well, the music in this scene is amazing.
Yeah. Obviously, this is the second time this music's popped up as well. The incidental. For some reason, it doesn't sound like it, but it also reminds me of the music from Golden Axe. For some reason.
Some wonderful music in that and sound, yeah.
Golden Axe, I think they're trying to go for almost like a bagpipes kind of sound, but like it's obviously all done on keyboards. So
yeah, not even like a proper keyboard, a MIDI keyboard. That was back in the day when they were absolutely dog shit. And in fact, my original version of Golden Axe, I believe it might have been in the arcades, but I didn't play it in the arcades. I had it. Let me just double check. Yeah, here we go. I had Golden Axe on the Atari ST. Which was my first console. Well, I say console. It's a computer that's sort of a console. I think I talked about this when we were in the computer lab. So Atari ST was sort of the shitter version of the Amiga. I had the Atari. I don't know why. I mean, ultimately, the Amiga would have been better. And I lived in Cyprus, and the Amiga had more access to fake games than the Atari. Yeah. And it also had better box art because they put more effort into replicating the box art on the fake games. So the owners of the shop would often swap my Atari game into an Amiga box for me as a favour because I liked the box more and I was a little kid. So they were just like, there you go. You can have, you can have Home Alone in this Amiga box. There you go.
Kind of feels at the end, though, there was probably some guy coming in and was like, why we're short one box? What's going on here?
Oh, they were helping a little kid. But so the music on the Atari version... even worse than what you've heard. Even worse. You couldn't get good sound out of that thing.
Yeah. So we have another very boring looking stakeout where I think you know in other blockbusters there would be chatter amongst these guys. You would have like the annoying guy would be sitting, and then there'd be like a gruff one going "shut up" kind of thing. Like, but I think the Miami the Miami Connection people are like, we just need to establish that they are the bad guys sitting in a car, clearly waiting for the good guys here, who are going out for post-class. I don't know if it's dinner, or if it's a snack, or if it's just a party. They want.
Yeah, I get the vibe. It's maybe like an early dinner.
Specifically, no. The thing is, they're debating where to go. We all know they're going to go back to Uncle Soon's, though. Like, it's just where else are they going to go? Where else are they going to get the free food? God damn it!
Well, I know where they actually go.
Oh, so now you get the reveal. Like, the thing I thought was Mark saying. Like, they're all getting into the car. They're all hyped up.
Oh, also, hang on. They get into the car. All 5 of them jump into the car.
Yeah.
So that's 5 drinks. Take 5 shots or the biggest gulp of your life. Hang on.
We're so parched after this. No drinking the whole episode, but now we're...
Fuck. But yeah, so they jump into the car. Mark... He hangs back a little bit first, and he says to them, "Okay, we did good today." He's very motivational, is Mark. You know, that's what you want to hear, right? Okay,
yeah, the vibe of a guy taking out a group of kids, as if they're all like he's a scoutmaster,
or the cool uncle, not the dad.
yeah, or just like a guy like, he's been placed in charge of like at a summer camp.
Yeah.
And he's just like, come on, guys, let's go and we're going to get some pizza, right?
Exactly.
It's got that kind
energy.
of, that kind of, I always hated that energy because, again, I'm a misanthropic kind of man.
Well, you could see through it. You know, it's an act.
Yeah, totally. So I remember even in university and like on the Freshers Week, I'm sure people aren't aware, but like in the first week of university, the new students are called freshers, and they have Freshers Week where there's all these activities and social things, and you can sign up to clubs and stuff.
It's kind of like in America you say freshman. It's the same thing. Fresher is like freshman.
Yeah. Because I was never officially a goth, but I had goth energy, I think, and was very sort of like, I just stick to my people, my interests, and I'm not interested in all this outgoing bullcrap you got going on here. But I remember having a little moment where like there was a guy who was in charge of like the freshers, like, we're gonna sign up and you guys all come down here and you get free pizza when you come down and stuff. And I just remember like there was a guy who was coming into the university, and his like sister, who must have been like a year or two younger, was there, and she had like kind of Daria energy.
Yeah.
And when both of us heard the pizza bit, we both kind of like almost looked at each other with kind of like, Jesus Christ. Like,
we were a little bit tempted then.
But it was just more of the kind of vibe like, this is so like cheesy and just like,
literally.
Trying to, yeah, but just like trying to, come on, we have pizza and pop downstairs for you. It's like, we're 18, we're not children. What are you doing? Like,
hey, I'll do anything for pizza, anything.
It's like, I'll be like Homer at the Flanders barbecue, just going and taking like 4 burgers and like a 6-pack. Like, well, sure, yeah. I'm just going over and sit by this tree.
It's essentially what I do at barbecues, to be fair, or buffets, like load up the plate so I don't have to get up a second time and just go sit in the corner.
But the big difference, though, I think here is that I believe 100% that YK Kim, he is genuine in his like, come on guys, let's have a great time. Whereas anyone else doing it, I always have a kind of like, this is put on. Like I don't buy that you're this lively.
Well, because you can feel the energy. That's the thing. They're doing it as an act, as like a character. Kim believes it. And
the thing is, the rest of Dragon Sound are kind of doing. They have a kind of like, yeah.
He's always like this.
There's some smiles, but they've kind of like, we just want to go and get the pizza, man.
Well, then he says the line, right? I didn't know what he said, so I put the subtitles on, because your version doesn't have the subtitles. I have the extra special one with all kinds of audio and visual things. And he says, "Aren't you hungry?" And then they all go like, "Yeah." He said, "Are you sure? Pizza."
There's even more guy looking after like 5-year-olds vibes. What the hell is that? Like,
you can do better than that.
Like maybe maybe he learned English from like going to classes like that or something. Where like it's just
you know what? You might be onto something, because I mean, a lot of people abroad, when they learn English, they do learn it in that kind of style. Like our friend, a friend of the show, Gaz Flint. He teaches English. And I think from from what he's told me, a lot of what he did do, I don't think he really deals with young kids anymore, but when he did, it is that kind of, you've got to get them all excited and like doing fun. And so maybe that is where he learned it, genuinely.
Yeah. That's always a weird thing. So I remember having a job interview for the Build-A-Bear workshop. And I didn't, because they would make you go around. Like, part of the interview was going around and singing aloud in the shop and stuff.
Oh,
and
I was about to say I'd be quite good at that, but the singing, no.
Yeah, but the thing is, because I'm quite good with kids as well.
Yeah, you're basically a dad. You look after everyone's kids.
Yeah, so but I couldn't do it. I was just like, nah, because again, this feels all like, if I was doing it myself, if I had the idea of like, I'm going to go out and start singing and getting the kids and leading them around like the Pied Piper and stuff, that'd be all well and good. But the fact that they were like, this is part of the interview and this is like a mandated thing that we do, it's just like, it doesn't feel like it's genuine. It's not genuinely coming from you.
It's
you don't
the
want
forced
to
aspect, and also you've got those kids' parents with them, obviously, silently judging your singing.
Yeah,
which they will be doing. Whereas if it's your mates, and you're looking after their kids, they're not going to judge you. They don't care.
So no, I did not proceed in the Build-A-Bear workshop process.
I'd be up for the tomfoolery. I mean, I am basically a clown. That's what I do. But singing, I'm not very good at it. That's another thing. I'd be self-conscious the whole time because when I sing, it's like. Well, you can just morph that into being part of the fun. That you're just like, true.
And you're just doing a terrible singing. But now, yeah. So, again, it's all fair enough if he was with a group of kids. But these are all the guys he hangs out with all the time. They must be, unless he was doing it taking the piss. But I don't think that he is. I think he's just very like, this is how people act. Like, no, they don't. Why can't they do not act like this?
That's just how cute he is. Come on. He's so lovely. He's so sweet. But also, it does not sound like he says, are you hungry? Aren't you hungry? Sorry, he asks them, aren't you hungry? Almost like, why haven't you asked me for food yet? Aren't you hungry? They should all go, yes, sir.
That's why, it does. I'll begin to think of like the beginning of SpongeBob SquarePants here.
Yeah,
like, go on, aye, kids. But
who lives in a?
Who lives in a like?
Trying to think of a fucking thing Mark would live in. What is it? Who lives in a dragon? I don't know.
I was trying to think of more of like who lives in a co-op.
Who lives in an orphanage down by the beach? Dragon sound.
I was going to say Mark.
Mark.
They don't even have a second name for him.
Mark Sound. I think we said Mark Dragon.
Yeah. Oh, Dragon, because he is badass. So,
you know what? After all this time, though, have we might have done it in like episode 1, but that was over a year ago. Did we look up what dragon was in Korean?
No.
Let's see.
We can do it right now.
Yong. So it could be Mark Yong.
All right, let's go with that. That sounds good to me.
I like that. Yeah.
Yeah, it sounds like it's like that sounds believable. That'll be his name as well.
It does actually, and it's very similar to Chinese. That might be where they get the word, because in Chinese, a dragon I know is long.
Ah.
With an L, it's a long. You know what? Despite speaking more Japanese, I actually don't know what it is in Japanese. I only know Chinese for some reason. Let's see. Dragon, Ryu.
Ryu.
Yeah.
So, a la Street Fighter Ryu? Or?
Yeah.
So the whole time his name is just Dragon. Okay.
It's quite a common name, actually, that in Japan, Ryu. It's not like a weird name. So that's interesting that's quite common. They are also known as Tatsu.
Yeah, okay. But I'm still like, I could have swore. And I felt, I wept for him. I mourned his loss. Well, I could have swore Mark was saying, like, hot chocolate. And then them going, pizza. And him like, pizza, okay, we'll do it. Like, as if he was, a diplomatic leader saying that, of course, let's go and decide where. And he had his heart set on hot chocolate, which was why I was kind of like, maybe he's planning to get both. And it is a miserably wet-looking day,
It's a hot chocolate kind of day, right?
Yeah, maybe that's why he was looking forward to it so much. But it turns out he wasn't looking forward to it at all, because there is no hot chocolate in this scenario.
But then again, this state, when it rains, humid, right? It's probably actually quite hot.
It's basically swamp. He's basically living in a swamp right now. So maybe that's why they're like, pizza, Mark. No, the hot chocolate.
Well, I've brought it up before, but that's what Pakistan was like when it rained. It would get hotter. Like, the rain doesn't give relief. The water's warm. And you're just like, what's going on? I'm supposed to be getting cool. No, what's happening? I'm dying. And it'll last like 3 days.
But so you're saying, though, he's saying, "Are you hungry?"
Yeah, but he says it so fast, and the way, again, no offense, his English isn't the best, but so he's like, "Are you hungry?" And then they sort of go, "Yeah." Like, "Are you sure?" Pizza.
But I don't know how I was hearing hot chocolate.
No, I can hear it. That's the thing. As soon as you said you heard it that way, I'm like, yeah, it makes sense to me.
I mean, it's fair enough, because I was worried he was going to get both, and I was like, man, like maybe if you were like 8. You could get away with that.
That's a weird combo. It's a bit like, is it Boardwalk Empire where someone gets coffee with their pasta?
Yeah. I think that's just like all the time, yeah.
And it's like, what the fuck? If you can't recognize a handsome man, how are you going to try and make yourself look handsome?
Yeah.
Like with
game
clothes
recognizes
and things.
game, John. As Michelle Rodriguez would say to Brie Larson in that one bit of the last Fast and Furious.
Great line. Mwah, yeah. Chef's kiss.
But yeah, so the guys all mount their steed.
Oh, yeah, and he even says, "Okay, let's go."
I do enjoy his little book drop. It's like, it's the thumbs up. He's full tilt about this, Mark. Yep. Like he's, I guess maybe some people might appreciate this as like, oh no, he's great to be around. He's so motivating and stuff. But I think I would be like, man, just get in the car.
I think it would work well in his martial arts school, like for the kids and stuff. If this kind of energy, the kids are going to like it. But again, he's not talking to children. He's apparently talking to his peers.
Yeah, unless he's studying to be a teacher, like a preschool teacher or something.
Oh, I could see that for his character as well. Not just for YK Kim. I could see it for the character of Mark.
Yeah, so maybe he's going over here would be a PGCE, I guess.
Yeah, so whatever you call it in America, your training, your qualifications to become a teacher.
And so that's why he's fresh out of a class where he's had to do this, kind of in a kind of rehearsal class or something. Now he's like, he's still got that energy. I'll accept that. Let's pretend, headcanon it, that Mark is learning. He's at school learning to be a primary school, elementary, kindergarten teacher or whatever, what have you. Yeah,
this totally fits for me. Not the other guys. They're all doing different classes, I think. But I can 100% see Mark doing that.
Well, speaking of the other classes, I was desperately trying to get, because when Jim gets in, you do get a flash of his book going past.
Yeah.
And I was screenshotting, and I was freeze framing, and I was zoom in enhancing, and I was doing all the usual malarkey. Could not get it. Couldn't get what this thing is. But it struck me though, because it doesn't look to me. If you pause and say it's second. Let's see if I can get live here. Yeah, second 35.
35. Here we go. Boom.
It doesn't look like a textbook to me. It looks like it's like an omnibus of like a comic or something.
Yeah, I thought the same thing. And now you've got me the exact second. Even more so. That's fascinating. Yeah. It looks like a kind of a hooded figure, and then there's a really elaborate font that you probably wouldn't see on a textbook, but it's also too blurred to really make out. But I have the facility to go frame by frame here, so give me a second.
It looks like it's it has the vibe of like a 1970s, like a kind of like a psychedelic comic, something like Mobius would have been doing the illustrations for. It'd be like if this is like the collected, the Inkle by Jodorowsky or something, I would kind of believe it. And then you might find out that Jim is doing like a fine art degree or something, and he's just into like all the psychedelic stuff.
Right, I think you're right. I don't think it's a textbook, because the only bit I can make out is if I go frame by frame, right? The actual full thing, it's too blurred. He's moving too fast for the frames to pick it up. But the frame I've got here, it's during second 35. It looks like there's two words, and it looks like the second word says spies. It definitely has PIES, and it looks like maybe an S before that. So I think it says something spies. That's not a textbook.
Yeah, it kind of looks like too. Like if you look at the bottom, it kind of looks like there's a drawing of like a little guy going up against a big thing, like whether it be like a mountain.
Yeah.
Or some sort of giant monster,
I think
of some sort.
Like a big villain character in a hood or something. Yeah.
Let's see. I've quickly Google 80s spy comics to see if 80s comics spies to see if anything pops up.
It definitely looks like it says spies. But it could be skies. But I think it's spies, but it could be something skies.
Not totally spies. That's not it. That's very much not it. Skies.
We've got Sky Commanders. That's not it.
It's kind of it's like the font of that title is too dynamic as well. Like it really looks like that's a. It could be the Inkle because again that wouldn't have like a that would be short first word, longer second word. So. But no.
I'm trying every search term I can possibly find. I mean, there is a comic, Crimson Skies.
You think though they'd have it in the title in Crimson?
Exactly, and then the one I'm looking at here, it's in Crimson. So it makes me think it might not be that.
But then you never know. You never know.
That S at the end is very similar to that S in the picture I've sent you. But then Crimson Skies. That says Microsoft, which makes me think it's more modern.
Let's see, when I Googled it seemed to give up Crimson Sky as a game.
Oh, that is a game. There is a game of it. It's like an old fighter pilot thing. But I'm thinking maybe the game comes from but now it's looking like maybe that. Oh, Jesus, this is so hard. We're trying, people. We're trying. If you have any idea what this is, please let us know because it's very hard to make out, even with this technology we've got from Blade Runner.
Maybe we could. This would be our excuse to reach out to Jim and be like, "You remember what comic were you reading during the shooting of Miami?"
Oh, I've still got it here.
My favorite book. It's like maybe his whole thing's like I was gonna write my own script and then I was gonna star in the adaptation of Crimson Skies and stuff.
Well, whatever it is. I don't think we're going to find out. We're going to try, people. We'll try our best, but that is that is a difficult one. But I actually do. I do now follow not a YouTuber. He does little short videos on Reels and all that, where people ask him what video game are they playing in this movie, and it can sometimes be there's a blurry shot for like a tenth of a frame of some kid in the background, and he will find what they're playing and break down how he's found it. So he's not just making it up. He shows you how it's like, holy fuck. It's amazing.
Maybe we should, but the thing is, you never know. This could be like an old, it might not be a comic. It could be an old game where it's like that comes in one of those big boxes and stuff.
It genuinely could be, actually. Let me press play. Yeah, it's not. That is not an unheard of size and shape for a video game. Definitely not.
Yeah. Maybe he's in the Jim's. Maybe he wouldn't be. He's not in the computer class with Jane, unless they edited it out. Like when John was going to get Jane, it was like, "Hey, it's me. I'm here too. You guys don't leave me here, are you?" But then I was like, for further investigation, maybe by next week, we might have. Might have uncovered some more about this.
Well, we'll try our best, and if we don't mention it again, we failed.
Yeah, but it really does. I can totally see it's like a crouching figure looking like he's beside a mountain, and then there's a big kind of bluish thing with red things around it. Is that cover? And it's just, but then of the Crimson, why wouldn't the title be in Crimson? It's annoying. No, but
there is a board game here called Dangerous Skies, which also has a video game, but the font doesn't look the same.
that was their weekend plans. It's like, oh guys, we got this new board game / video game.
Could be.
They go, get some pizza.
Some hot chocolate.
Yeah. But no, I think we'll just have to let that mystery go. Until next. In between, I'll see what I can do. We'll both see what we can do, and then
give it a
reconvene
shot.
Back.
I genuinely will try and get hold of someone from the cast. Genuinely. In fact, I'm going to take a screenshot of it right this second so I can send it to them as part of the message.
Yeah.
And be like, what the fuck have you got in your hand? Tell me, or I'm
going to be very aggressive. They're like, no introduction or anything.
No.
It's like some asshole just threw an old picture of me from 1986 and was like, what are you holding there?
I've got to know.
Like, I remember everything I've ever held in my hands in my entire life. What the hell are you holding here?
If you don't, there's something up with you. You're dodgy. You're suspect.
And then we get I feel like they want to do like a cool. Then he pulls out and they zoom off. But Angelo does have a kind of slight yep, just backing up a little bit.
Oh,
slowly.
Right. I identified so much with it. I related. He's looking all around as they're backing up. Like, oh, watch out. Because I do this. I don't even know how to drive. Why am I looking, right? What the fuck am I even looking for? Other than, like, a kid.
Yeah.
I have no clue. I hate it when someone says, "Oh, would you just get out of the car and help me back up?" And I'm like, what am I doing? I don't know. There's loads of room, I think.
Yeah. And, notably there, Angelo doing the driving, even though we seemed to establish last week that it was Jim's car. So I'm assuming it's just a communal car. It fully is a co-op scenario here. Of like,
yeah.
Angelo's like, all right, I'll drive this time, and then tomorrow Joe Jack will drive, et cetera, et cetera. So
I get that vibe. I think maybe it's the orphanage's car.
As Mark's like, Mark, if you take in these young hooligans, wayward teens, you can, and you know, maybe Dragon Sound is like his homework for his teaching class, where it's like, yes, then we assign you some young people, and you whip them into shape, and then you become like their mentor, and then you and then if you can do that with them, then you can be a teacher. So that's what his whole thing is like. So it comes in and has to deliver like his verbal presentation is just like. So then I formed a rock band with them. Yeah. Even though I can't play any instruments, I pretended I could play guitar.
How dare you say that about him?
And now we do have moderate fame, where we keep getting, hounded on the college campuses and stuff. But and they were like, "Oh my God, you're the Mark from Dragon Sound?" I was like, "Yes, Dragon Sound is just my assignment. I've got to fall ass backwards into being a rock star now." But yeah, they all pull out. And then we get Jeff's crew following suit, and that's the end of the minute.
It is. It's not a lot of action, but a lot of nonsense to talk about. And the commentary track didn't have too much. It just talked about how, they've sort of mentioned this before, but how the university was super cooperative. And excited to help out, so there were zero issues with shooting these scenes. They were just all like, "Yeah." But at the back of my mind, I was thinking, well, where the fuck were they on launch? On premiere day? They could have at least turned up to one viewing.
Yeah, final exams week. I think maybe that might have been the pain. It's like, oh no, it was exams week when it came out. It's like no one had the time to go.
That was the reason it flopped. It would have been a runaway success if they'd waited a couple of weeks.
Yeah, you said 1 week later, everyone would have been there. But no, everyone had to stay in and study. So, oh well.
Bless them. But an action-packed minute of getting into a car.
Yeah, and now we can get back to normality.
Oh.
As it were.
In fact, I want to get back to normalcy.
Yes, we go with Dragon Sound. We'll get back to normalcy. We will get back to normality.
Actually, yeah, that's a good point. You know what? Let's embrace our differences. Culturally, people, let's do it. You're not wrong, America. That's your thing. We're not wrong.
That'll be something that's like later on there'll be a scene of like Mark saying to Jeff like, "Oh, so if we could only just get back to some normality here."
What?
Jeff like, "Normality? It's normalcy around here."
They have a fight over it. That'd be great.
But yeah. Shall we break the connection?
We shall. I am no doubt. So yes, break it. We are available all over those interwebs. If you surf the information superhighway with your modems, on your fancy one computer in the lab at school, if you go and use that and get on the information superhighway, you can communicate with us via IRC. That's not even as old as this. That's old, but it's not this old. ICQ. All these kind of things. But do find us on Facebook at the Miami Minutes Taekwondo Orphanage. Facebook was a concept not even dreamed of back in these days. How were you supposed to rate the hotties at your university back then?
Well, I think we had the pink shirt going around there. He was written internally in his own mind.
That's true.
Hotties, I think.
He's the one you want to hit up for all the gossip. I think he knows who the hotties are at school. Get us on Twitter, Miami Minutes, Instagram, Miami Minutes, and why don't you go to our network, Sleepy Charlie Media, on Patreon? You can listen to us talk about Terminator 2. T2. We're gonna be, and there's different versions of the. You can listen to us do it as like an episode, where there's an intro and an outro. You can listen to it as a commentary track, so you play it with the movie, Or there's even a secret thing where there's low audio of the movie running underneath us, and we haven't been caught out yet for copyright. So you can.
That now until you told people, John. What the hell?
Yeah, you can listen to that. You can listen to that. And I mean, it's so low that you don't. It's not like, oh, they're spoiling the movie. Oh no one's going to watch it. No, it's low, but it's enough that you're like, oh, I know where they are in the film if you're not watching it. So you've got like three different options. And there's us talking about Beetlejuice and all kinds. I say all kinds. I think they're the only two commentaries we've done so far. But we're going to do more. We could even do some sort of shitty ninja movie. We could do like Ninja Terminator or something. Actually, what would we talk about though? I don't know.
We could just do Ninja Turtles. That's a movie we know well enough.
Yeah, we would have stuff to say on that. We could do something like that. Let us know what you would like, actually, that would tie into this. So it could be martial arts, it could be ninjas. I was going to say even 80s, but that's too broad.
Yeah.
That's too broad. If it's super incredibly over-the-top stupid 80s, maybe. Maybe. But not just like 80s in general, because that's like every movie I like under the sun. Pretty much, That's like Empire Strikes Back's 80s, technically. Even though it's still kind of, it's like, it's 70s there. But yes, do all of that and join us in 1 week's time for more Miami Minutes. We did good today.
Hot chocolate?
Listen to me.